I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villageXchange@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
And the child shall lead them
To buy our merch.
to buy our merch.
All right, here we are for a birthday celebration for the
Yes.
big homie River.
The B-Day
Look, we
day.
got some lights.
We got
Fun.
the club. We got the club. Y'all hear the sound. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. However, the moment has arrived,
Yes.
dear listener. The moment has arrived. The name of this band is... I don't know what the name of this band is. Heather Dale?
No,
Heather
Heather Dale, Mordred's Lullaby.
Heather Dale.
Okay, so
Mordred's Lullaby for the big homie
River. Okay,
River's
so I am
birthday.
going to read River's breakdown of why this song was chosen. I am a huge nerd for Arthurian. I can't say this word.
Arthurian. You know, like King
Legend.
Arthur?
Yeah, I know, but I couldn't make it into the word. And this song written from the perspective of Morgan Le Fay, King Arthur's sister in some tales. It is incredibly dark, but somber sounding track that's just very fun. After you listen to War Between Brothers, I've been listening to The Trial of Lancelot. The album, it's off non-stop.
Ah, okay. So
Okay.
we've listened to a song by this young lady before.
Okay.
And this is going to have some Arthurian stuff to talk about. And that's my band. So let's check it out.
Let's do it.
Let's check it out.
Hush, child, the darkness will rise from the deep end. Carry
moly.
Yikes. Talk about a dysfunctional family.
Well, she also has an amazing voice.
Yeah, Shorty can sing. Holy moly.
That felt like, I don't know. I'm not even going to finish that sentence.
She can definitely sing.
Yep.
Danny's like, I like the song. Very pretty. Yes. Hey, Darius. Long time no see, big homie. Shout out to the big homie, Darius.
So, I'm actually very interested in this story. So, I'm not familiar with any of it, so I was going to read this unless you had some input, because I'm not familiar with it.
I pasted the situation down here, but go ahead. Read your...
The song is told by Morgana, half-sister to King Arthur. Her hatred for Arthur derives from the previous generation where Arthur's father killed Morgana's father, robbing her of her parent. Arthur later, while married to Guinevere, was attracted to the wife of King Lot sexually and deceived her into believing that he was her husband. Later to find out that she was actually Morgana. She became pregnant with Mordred and resented him for a long time because of the fact that he's a result of incest between half-siblings. Mordred was an antagonist who hated his father for his sin of adultery and incest and wanted to seize the throne. I think my mind's like a little slow tonight. Can you explain that situation?
Well, what I'm looking at here is Mordred was a son of and nephew of King Arthur from an intimate internet encounter King Arthur had with his half-sister Morgase, or Morgause, when he did not know they were related. King Arthur was devastated when he learned that Morgause was his half-sister. As if you were cheating on Guinevere, you evil bastard. So that's, you get it? So
no.
The girl was his half-sister. He's like, hey, I'm just going to have a little jump off here real quick. Well, he didn't know that was his half-sister. So
that was his jump off?
Yeah.
How did he not know that?
I mean, separated at birth.
Okay.
So he goes and has this encounter with her, but then she gets pregnant. So the kid is now basically his nephew/son. So it's a pretty screwed up situation.
So okay.
But what's going? The wife of King Lot, I'm assuming, was Morgase or whatever. Later, find out that she was actually.
So she Morgana
Morgase is the same person.
Yeah, she shared the same father. Wait, no, she had different fathers, same mother.
Right. That's why I said she's a half sister.
Yeah, and then so King Arthur killed her father.
Yep.
And who's the one that slept with her? King Arthur?
King Arthur.
Then slept with the daughter?
With Morgana. He didn't know that was his half-sister. And then Mordred is the kid that came from that. So obviously there's a serious conflict there. A serious conflict there.
Holy shit. Oh, Mordred was an antagonist who hated his father for his sin of adultery and incest and wanted to seize his throne. You know what's so interesting is it really depends on where and who Mordred got raised with. So he was probably raised by his mother, which gave him that view of his father. But had he been raised by his father, I don't know, they probably would have painted his mother like she was a hoe that deceived him or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, yeah, I'm sure they would have tried. But obviously, especially, during those times, like, to be the product of that is, you're done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're done forever. So I could see in today's world, in the Western world, there still would be some stigma. Like, I don't think he'd put it on his Facebook, hey guys, by the way. I just think that the entire society wouldn't be after him. But I think during those times,
you can move. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but your dad's the king. Like, everybody knows.
Yeah, but
like, there's
then,
no way you're going to be able to get away from that. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're pretty much screwed at that point. And so, and Mordred, I'm assuming was also pissed off for the sake of his mother.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And so what is she saying when she's saying, which child is she talking to?
I'm assuming she's talking to Mordred.
Sounds like he's gonna die.
Mordred is an enemy of Arthur.
Right.
So she's saying hush child probably because, he's upset and
the darkness
angry,
will rise from the deep and carry you down into sleep. It sounds like death.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know enough about the Arthurian legends to
I love legends. I love them. I love mythology.
To delineate. Guileless son, I'll shape your belief, and you'll always know that your father's a thief. And you won't understand the cause of your grief, but you'll always follow the voices beneath.
The darkness? That follow the darkness?
Well, right, because in the chorus, at the beginning of the song, it says the darkness will rise from the deep. So, basically, she's taking the dark side. And he's sitting there listening to her. She's singing to Mordred, who she believes.
Look at this.
Hold on. Will die to return her birthright to the throne.
Oh.
So
she's talking to her kid like that?
Well, as in a lot of these situations, the kid
probably has some hatred for the kid.
I just think the kid is a chess piece.
Oh my god.
Which is
because look at this.
Loyalty.
She's said loyalty like a million times.
Loyalty only to me. Yeah, and that's why, look, it's really, really fascinating because you have all of these kind of epic stories that are superheroes and fantastical and superhuman, but they still end up with the same basic human problems. Relationship can't work out. There's a conflict, split relationships, problems with the kids, parents, Like, it's just fascinating to me. Like, we can never get away from it. No matter where we put ourselves in literature, we could put ourselves on another planet. We could put ourselves all over the place. It won't matter. You're still going to have the same problems if you bring around human beings. I mean, it's a fact. This is what happens. We just go and screw shit up. Talking about my parents, I was upset during my father's funeral wake because it was a Pentecostal service. Instead of talking about loss and passing, the pastor went on a homophobic rant, which upset me. I don't even know how the hell you can bring up homosexuality at the middle of a funeral. We had this conversation a couple of days, weeks ago. Where
maybe the father had some issue or something. You know what I mean? Like maybe he was.
But at a fucking
funeral, what people do crazy shit. You know that.
Well, we had a guy on here, and shout out to the homie. He's a good dude, but he was coming after me because I said fuck or something like that.
Right.
And he was saying, the Bible tells us, not to use profane language. Mm-hmm. And I brought him on and I said, okay, well, let's talk about it. Like, let's discuss our various interpretations of those verses. See if we can come to some sort of agreement. Because Paul says, don't let anything profane come out of your mouth. And then he says, but only what is useful for edification, encouragement, and to give grace to the hearer. Mm-hmm. I think is what Paul says in Ephesians 4. And I was saying, it also said something about time appropriate, mm-hmm. like timeliness. And I was saying, that verse is a lot deeper than saying don't say fuck. Like, when you're communicating, there has to be you got to be thinking about those aspects all the time when you're communicating if you want to be faithful to that verse. And so I was talking about how if you were to say, great fucking job, you are encouraging them, you're building them up, and I could say, great fucking job, God's proud of you. Okay, now you've just communicated grace to the hearer. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then I said, look, if you were at a funeral, it would be inappropriate. You would be violating that verse if you were partying and happy and saying a bunch of happy shit because it's not fitting for the occasion. Mm-hmm. So here's this guy's dead at a funeral, and what does his son get to hear about? He gets to hear that God hates gay people or whatever crazy. I don't know.
I'll tell you, Okay.
Listen,
Listen, I'll tell you from the other side
Guys
why
are
that
killing me.
sort of thing would happen. So when I was in college, they were teaching us how to like do all kinds of types of sermons. And, you know, it could be a funeral, it could be a wedding, there's all kinds of different types of things that it could be. And one of the things that they talked about was you have people, there are only like 2 or 3 occasions where people come to church. One is Christmas, one is weddings, and one is funerals. And once in a while, you know, some people will come for Easter. Those are the 4 big ones though. So 4 times, you know, you might get people into church. And so I think that people use that as an opportunity. Like they're looking at it as, yes, somebody has died, but death comes to us all in a sense. You know what I mean? And then they look at it like, here's my opportunity. We're going to have, you know, 100 people in here that would never step foot in a church. And the only reason that they're in here is because somebody passed away. And so then they want to use that opportunity. Because if you're looking from their perspective, like the way that we used to be taught was if you have an opportunity to tell someone about God and you don't do it, and then that person dies and they go to hell, their blood is on your hands. And so when you have that belief, then you'll use anything, a funeral, it doesn't matter, as an opportunity to tell that information.
Yeah, but I don't have a problem with saying, hey, people are thinking about the afterlife, obviously, at funerals, so
yes, but you know,
an excuse
Christians
to
have
talk
this
about
big
God.
thing.
But my question is, why that aspect of God? There are millions of different
Yes.
aspects of the divine being. Why do we have to talk about that at that time when this dude's family is in just pure pain?
No, I totally...
Now we got to talk about the gay shit.
I totally agree with you, and I hear you. I think the reason that they do it, though, is because there's not like a big deal. There's a big deal made about homosexuality. That's like one of the biggest things people make a giant deal about. So I think that they're like, okay, here's a major one, and I have to address this. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I obviously don't think it's the right thing to do. I think it's like the worst thing that they could do.
It's evil.
Yes.
From my view,
well,
it's, you know, it's funny. I was listening. This is, you know, we gotta at some point circle back to the song, but like, I was at one of the first sermons I ever heard, actually, from Dave. Actually, it was actually really good. It was Lazarus's death, and you know, it says Jesus wept, and then it said, you know, people said, look how they loved him, but then John says, but others were saying, he saved others, couldn't he have saved this man? And so
that's weird. They repeated that at the cross, basically, too.
Yeah. He just healed the dude that was born blind. You know, one chapter actually, chapter 9, and then they had the argument in chapter 10, and then chapter 11 is Lazarus. So basically, he already healed the guy that was born blind. The guy says, so why couldn't he help this man? And it was really crazy to me because the pastor basically said Jesus heard that, but he didn't respond to it because having a theological debate is not appropriate at a funeral. And he was saying sometimes you just need to learn when to shut the fuck up. If you can't say anything that's going to communicate grace to those people and give them some hope, then keep your fucking mouth shut. Like, if you despise gay people to the point where you have to do some shit like that, then fucking take a day off and let somebody else send that family home in peace.
Yeah, honey, I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying
Holy shit.
Like, I never had like a hatred for gay people, right? I mean, you know that.
Yeah.
But I did have this is a serious problem. We have to speak out against it. And there was so much pressure on it from the adults around me. I thought this is a major, major thing. And so I could totally have seen myself, not because I was trying to be evil to the people, but because I was thinking, okay, I have to say this, I have to, you know what I mean? Like, I could totally see myself.
So unless you condemn people, and I'm not asking sarcastically, I'm genuinely trying to get some, shout out to Bowser's Reaction Pit. You guys should check him out. Cajun Floridian, Tampa, huh? I was checking out houses in Tampa today, sir. We might have to hook up. You might have to do some real estate work for us. Okay.
Some searching around.
So you just have to say that you have to make them feel that they're the worst person in the world. Otherwise, you're not being faithful to the gospel.
No.
Like, what about a greedy person? Like, did you ever go after a greedy person and say,
listen, honey, this is what I'm explaining to you is when we were studying, there were certain things and there are certain churches where they make the focus one thing or two things or three things.
Yeah.
And those are the major things. And unless you say, well, hold on a minute, and you start really, like you were the first person to point out to me that Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed because they were greedy people that would just let people suffer and starve. Like, that was the major reason. Everybody wants to make Sodom and Gomorrah about homosexuality, but that's not what it was. And until you pointed that out to me, I mean, you asked me, I thought I knew that story back to front to back. And I was like, well, easy, homosexuality, that's why. And then you were like, well, no. And then looking, upon further investigation, there was something else to be seen. But unless you have that, that shown to you, and I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm just saying for myself, like, friggin', I never did a funeral, but if I did funerals, if I did funerals and somebody pulled up a video of me doing a funeral, I don't know. I mean, probably I would have, because I saw anything as an opportunity to get the truth out to people because I was trying to save their souls from the pits of hell.
Yeah, but I saw you when you had that mentality. You weren't saying all that type of crazy shit.
No, but if I felt like I needed to say something so that way people didn't think that, we agreed with it or that it was okay and that God was going to completely... You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because I would have thought at that time that if you were, which I always thought this, which is kind of probably why I questioned myself all the time, was I thought that if you were gay, that automatically, basically, you were straight on your way to hell. And then as I grew more and kind of got a broader understanding, I realized that just because somebody has certain inclinations, certain way, whether they act on them, they don't, that kind of splits the road. But I wouldn't have thought to say anything like that when I was at that stage. I would have just said, it's across the board bad, blah, 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 to try to deter people from a path that could lead them. Because I took that very seriously.
Yeah. Sorry for the break, guys, but yeah.
But I love this song.
This is a really wicked woman, huh? Guileless son, I will shape your belief. So that means he's a genuine dude. That's what it means. He doesn't have any guile. So she knows that he's guileless. And what happens with people like that who are genuine people, they think everybody's like them. And so you get a real evil person that can take advantage of that shit. That's a bad situation. Really bad situation.
I think one important takeaway here is, so because of what happened to her, she ends up, like you called her an evil woman, that her actions are absolutely evil here. It seems to me that she allowed her hate and feelings of powerlessness to make it so that way she controlled somebody else, because now she's trying to control her kid to be, well, look at this. Guileless son, your spirit will hate her, the flower who married my brother the traitor, and you will expose his puppeteer behavior, for you are the proof of how he betrayed her loyalty. So why is she saying that you're going to hate the woman? Like, what did that other woman do?
Well, the other woman's probably Guinevere, because he was married at the time. So in those situations, the real wife gets treated like the real wife, and then the jump off gets, the scraps. So she hates Guinevere, so he's got to hate him too. This is all the bullshit that parents of divorces do. That's why I was the way that I was, because I knew what it was like to be a stepkid. That shit is not fun, man. It really, really isn't. But what happens when the fallout is ugly and the parents aren't getting along, it gets all crazy and people start losing their minds, and then the kids get caught up in the middle and it's all using them as it's just it's a disaster. But it's crazy to me that even in the world of fantasy and all the rest of it, like, we can it just doesn't seem like the human family is ever going to get past that as an issue for sure. Yeah, so she had a deeper resentment for Guinevere as much as she did for Arthur.
It's not fair. This is crazy, though.
It's a real thin line between love and hate, y'all. Good Lord.
Wanting that darkness to take over her kid.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's. I mean.
Oh my God! She said, "Look at this."
Right?
Guile. What'd you say?
Go ahead.
No, what'd you say?
I said it's not surprising.
Guileless son, each day you grow older. Each moment I'm watching my vengeance unfold. For the child of my body, the flesh of my soul will die in returning the birthright he stole.
Yeah.
So she knows this is going to kill her kid?
Yeah, she didn't care. She
it's
doesn't
weird
care
because she's saying
death,
like...
His death, because technically the lineage, right? It's patrilineage, so he's technically Arthur's son.
So she's going to get Arthur killed, and then she's going to kill the kid.
The queen mother.
And then she's going to rule.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's a wicked woman, bro. She's a really, really terrible, 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 terrible human being. But that's a badass song, though.
Yeah,
the song was crazy.
Believe it or not, it's a 10 for me.
I
loved it.
9.5 for sure.
I loved it.
9.5. The vengeance that Mordred pulls ends up bringing all of Camelot down. There's a spoiler, guys, if you're not familiar with classical literature. There you are.
Wow.
Having said that, dear listener, Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.